Hi, this is Lane 8492. I'm going to have to do this video all over again because the one I did of my second true crime story videos was having connection problems. So I'm going to have to do it all over again. As I said, this is the case of what I saw on the series Signs of a Psychopath on Investigation Discovery. This would be the case of a massacre of a family of four in Elkview, West Virginia, in Conway County. Of course, that's the county of Charleston, the capital and biggest city in West Virginia. It was in December of 2020 that 60-year-old grandfather Timothy Saunders had been trying to check in on his daughter and her family on probably why he hadn't heard from them. And when he walked into their house, he found them all murdered. Those four people were 37-year-old Daniel Dale Walker, his wife, those four were 37-year-old Daniel Dale Long, a former corrections officer, his wife, 39-year-old Risa Mae Saunders, and two sons, 12-year-old Gage Ripley and 3-year-old Jameson Long. And it just upset Timothy Saunders to walk into this grisly scene. And of course, the police in the interview, according to the series Signs of a Psychopath, asked Timothy Saunders if the family was having any issues. And he immediately replied was that they were having some problems out of the eldest son, who wasn't there, 16-year-old Gavin Smith. And said that 16-year-old Gavin Smith, who was a problem, was constantly running around or just running away. And he said it all had to do with the girl that he was running around with, who he described as a fruitcake. As it turned out, 16-year-old Gavin Smith in high school had fallen for a girl who was a few months older than him, who was 17, his mom and stepdad did not like or approve of. Her name was Rebecca Lynn Walker. And of course, Gavin's mother, Risa Mae Saunders, had forbid Gavin from seeing her or to have any contact with her. And that made Gavin Smith extremely angry, to where he would keep defying his mother by running away to go be with her. And it would upset her and break her heart knowing that he was doing this. She called the police, who would end up finding Gavin and keep bringing him back home. And the more that was done, the more angry Gavin Smith got at his family. Until one day, he decided that he was going to massacre his family to be with 17-year-old Rebecca Lynn Walker. And of course, he told her he was going to do that. And Rebecca Lynn Walker actually encouraged it because she wanted to be with Gavin and Smith, and Gavin Smith wanted to be with Rebecca Walker. And of course, her parents didn't like him either. And after Gavin Smith massacred his whole family, he ran off to be with Rebecca Lynn Walker, who was at her grandmother's house and had been there for 5 days, without her grandmother knowing he was even there. And when she said that, her dad, Seth, said, how could her grandmother not know that Gavin was there? And that's when Rebecca Walker broke down emotionally, saying that if he wants to know the truth, and said that she knows that her dad doesn't like Gavin. But she said that Gavin Smith is the only one who made Rebecca Walker feel like she was not alone. And she told her dad that he makes her feel like she's alone. And that said that her dad didn't make her feel special, and only Gavin Smith did. And of course, eventually Gavin Smith, they had first found him and brought him in for questioning. And Gavin Smith admitted to doing what he did to his family. And of course, Gavin Smith made up a false claim saying that his 37-year-old stepdad was violent and abusive, and he was running away to get away from him, and showed a fictional scar that wasn't even there, that he claimed was on his arm when it really was not. And of course, another one who shot down Gavin Smith's claim was his grandfather, Timothy Saunders, because what he said of Daniel Dale Long, he loved Daniel Dale Long like his own. And he also said that Daniel Dale Long was at a limit at what he could do because he was supposed to have a heart transplant, which another reason that shot down Gavin Smith's story was that being that Daniel Dale Long was supposed to have a heart transplant, which means he was pretty much too physically weak to be violent or abusive to do what Gavin Smith claimed he did. And of course, when I saw that on the Serious Signs of a Psychopath, I didn't buy Gavin Smith's story on claim on that either. To me, that was a load of garbage. And even the police didn't buy Gavin Smith's story either. And of course, Rebecca Lynn Walker was also in the interrogation, and she admitted that she encouraged Gavin Smith to just massacre his whole family because Gavin Smith wanted to be with Rebecca Walker, and Rebecca Walker wanted to be with Gavin Smith. And she said in the interrogation that his parents didn't like her for some reason. And of course, Gavin Smith ended up going on trial for 4 counts of first-degree murder. He was found guilty, and the judge gave him the maximum that he could give because he was 16 at the time of his crime, which was life sentences with mercy, but they were to run consecutively to make sure that Gavin Smith never gets out of prison in West Virginia. And of course, for Rebecca Lynn Walker, she got 10 years for being an accessory after the fact because she knew, didn't report it, and did nothing to stop it. And parents can have problems with teen kids, but they don't get violent the way Gavin Smith did. And Gavin Smith's mother could just tell that she was not right, that Rebecca Walker was wrong for her son, Gavin Smith, but he didn't care. And he tried running away to be with her, but that never worked, because the police kept finding Gavin Smith and bringing him back to his mother's house. And I said that just kept getting him angrier and angrier. But these are people who, like Gavin Smith and Rebecca Walker, and they still have a lot of, at that time, they should have realized they still have a lot of growing up to do. I mean, Gavin Smith had a caring mother, because from what I saw in an episode of Cops, of some kids who run away, their parents don't even chase after them. They just let them go and hope they come back sometime. But some who have loving parents got to remember, they've still got a lot of growing up to do when they're teenagers. And they still got to learn growing up to make right decisions. Well, hope you enjoyed this video and let me know what you think. Thanks.